that spirit. The editorial page editor, James Bennett, defended the publication, saying readers who might be inclined to oppose Cotton's position need to be fully aware of it and reckon with it if they hope to defeat it. So that was his defense. But then hours later, the paper walked back that defense and said, whoa, we just reviewed this and we found that a rushed editorial process led to an op-ed that did not meet our standards. In other words, it shouldn't have been published at all. There was a tense town hall meeting with staffers on Friday. Sulzberger said Cotton's piece should not have run, and Bennett announced that it would not run in print, and there's not going to be as many op-eds in the future. On Friday evening, this is more than a day after the controversy started, the Times added an editor's note to the piece explaining the reasoning behind why it was published and what went wrong, and expressing regrets and fact-checking the piece. And all of this is just cannon fodder for Senator Cotton, who went on Fox News and elsewhere blasting the Times, saying the paper caved to a mob of woke kids in the newsroom. There are generational divides here, but that's not entirely what this is about. There are other aspects as well. So let's bring Nicole Hannah-Jones back. She's a staff writer at the Times and the founder of the 1619 Project. Nicole, what happened from your perspective?
Well, I think we saw kind of a bunch of things occurring at once. The opposition, so let me just say that the New York Times journalists who oppose this column love the institution of the New York Times intensely and also care deeply about journalism. What was the main issue was that you have a U.S. senator in the party of power saying that he wants to use the military to suppress dissent, not going through the normal fact-checking process that anyone making such claims should go through, and making, assertions that our own reporters had discredited through their reporting. And that was the main concern. But I think what happened is a larger symptom that we're seeing in news organizations across the country, which is they are really struggling to cover in a way that appears to be nonpartisan, a kind of political landscape where one political party has in many ways gone rogue and is not following the rules. But there's a sense if you just cover that straight down the line, you will look like you are picking sides. And so this adherence to even-handedness, both sideism, the view from nowhere doesn't actually work in the political circumstances that we're in. And what a lot of people said is that, it is fine. We as a news organization must air the opinion of someone like Senator Tom Cotton, but in a news article where we can check the facts, where we can push back, that you don't just hand over your platform to someone that powerful making assertions that might have been unconstitutional and most certainly some of them were not accurate. So it is not just the New York Times. News organizations have really been struggling with how do you cover where we are politically without always having to get those calls that somehow the coverage is in opposition to the Republican Party as opposed to just covering what is happening.
I agree with you that other news outlets are struggling with this as well, these dynamics. But, I think there are probably a lot of people who are not even subscribers to the Times who hear about this and say, this is just liberal intolerance. Whatever happened to free speech? Just meet more free speech with more speech. That's like kind of a bedrock idea. And are you saying that that bedrock idea doesn't hold up anymore?
Well, free speech is not that I, as a sitting senator, or I, as someone sitting in my living room, has the right to run my opinions in the New York Times unedited and unchecked. That's not what free speech is. Senator Cotton certainly has the right to write and say whatever he wants in this country. But we, as a news organization, should not be running something that is offering misinformation to the public unchecked. So, yes, we do absolutely believe that his views should be aired, that it is necessary, that we know that someone with this power thinks this way. But that's a different thing altogether than simply allowing someone to say things that are not true, to make assertions that might be unconstitutional without a check. Many of us journalists said there should have just been a news article where his views were aired, but in a way that was factual, because we know we are struggling with Americans getting misinformation. And our role as journalists is to give people correct information so they can make decisions.
Yeah, my reaction to the op-ed was just he's overreacting. Everything's okay.